Considering upgrading your UberX car or Uber Comfort car to UberXL, do us a favour, guys. Before you do, please watch this video. I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight of what it's like having one. I've had one myself, I've had two actually, and is it really worth it? I'm going to answer those couple of questions with a little bit of experience that I've gone through myself personally, and then you can make your own decision if you want to upgrade to an XL or not. And also, guys, what type of XL? Because that is also a very important factor. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. You know the score. Give us a little like, subscribe to the channel. YouTube loves interaction, so even just give me a little comment and just go, what a guy, Matty. Anything helps you. Nice one, guys. Much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in a second. Should you? Should you upgrade to UberXL? Well, I get this question asked a lot, so I just thought to myself to do a little video and just go into detail really of should you? Do you know what I mean? Because like UberX is the baseline of Uber, right? So every single person has UberX. So if you're in a minibus, you're in an exec car, you're in a normal car, you're in a Prius, electric, everybody's got an UberX, right? So when you think about it, UberX, it's so saturated because everyone's in one. So then what you got to try and do is you got to try and make yourself stand out from the crowd a little bit with something different. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's just comfort or exec or XL. And I've covered the exec the other day, I think. I can't remember. I am starting to cover them all as well to give you a bit of insight. But with the actual Uber XL, there's a few stipulations that you've got to look out for with your council and everything else in this video. So I'm going for. So, should you upgrade to your Uber XL? Well, first of all, why? Well, to be honest, like I said, UberX is the base platform. It's saturated. So if you can stand out from the crowd just a touch, you might get the odd little job here and there, which saves your day. So just having a crap day. I'd like to be having a crap day, bouncing around on UberX, and then I'll get like a 60 quid XL. I'll be like, yes, that's coming to clutch. Do you know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why you should go, or you can go XL if you can, just to stand out from the crowd just a little bit, right? Bear in mind, guys, XL work, you think about logically when you'd personally book an XL, and that's when the XL is popular. So a group of friends or family going for like an even meal, or like a concert, or like a football event, or the airport. But normally Uber XL is a bit sketchy in the airport because you've got 6 passengers, you ain't got right? But they're the times of thing you got to think of UberXL. So if you're a daytime driver, 9 till 5 or 7 till 3 or whatever, then realistically your XL might not be the best of idea. Yeah, you might get the odd XL to the airport, stuff like that. But generally during the day, you got 1, 2 people going to get to the airport, going to shop, going to work. Do you know what I mean? The big 6, 5, 6 seats of work is all in the evening, isn't it? Going to parties, going to events, going to concerts, going on nights out. So your Friday, Saturday nights, or your weekends in general, stag do's, is where your XL work shines. So if you're working Monday to Friday, maybe not worth upgrading, because obviously when you upgrade to an XL, you've got extra costs. And that's one thing you've got to figure out, because profit is more important than income. If you get a vehicle and increases your income, but reduces your profits because the costs more money, then it's not worth you doing it, is it? Do you know what I mean? So that's another thing you'll look at is profits to expense, income to expenses, which is profit. Do you know what I mean? And this is when I'm going to come on the type of vehicle. So the timing, if you've got the timing right and you want to go Uber XL, there's a few different types of XL you can get. You can get the Ford Galaxy type, where you got the seats are in the boot, for smaller people. But once the seats are up in the boot, then you haven't got much room for luggage, right? You got that type of vehicle, but they have an expense similar to a car. So it's like a little hybrid, right? So they're quite good for XL, okay? And then on the other hand, you got the big minibuses, your Ford Tourneos, your Vitos, your V-classes. On that side of things, right, they're with big expenses. Yeah, so if you're bouncing around in a Ford Tourneo doing UberX with the odd XL job, that's where the expenses are going to be start going. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit different if you do a lot of airport private work and you use Uber to fill in your gaps. That's a bit different. I'm on about full-time Uber guys, okay? You're not really interested in airports. You just want to do Uber, go home, online, offline, You don't want no scheduled working because that's a hassle. That's a different hassle than the airport work. So if you just want to be a full-time Uber driver, you gotta look at what vehicle. So myself, this is all my personal opinion, guys. If you're gonna do UberXL, I would avoid the big minibuses because you just bring too much expenses, too much repairs. There's so many problems you can get with the big minibuses, right? And then 80-90% of your work, you're gonna be doing X work anyway, which is standard car work. So that's why I say leave the big minibuses out of it. Yeah. Now I know there's an Exec XL or whatever, which is like there's 7 seater Vitos and V classes. But depending on your area, they don't even get booked. It's still quite new. I definitely wouldn't invest in like a Vito or a V class and work Uber full time. Really, in my opinion, I wouldn't anyway. So this is where you get the little hybrid options, yeah. The little not a car, not a minibus, a midlife crisis car, yeah. And that is your Ford Galaxy, your Vauxhall Safari, even those what are those popular ones that everyone's getting the boxes, is it? Like those hybrid Toyota box shaped ones. Do you know what I mean? Them type of vehicle, I'd say they're the best UberXL vehicle. And if you're going to upgrade to UberXL, it's the type of vehicle I'd get. So people say, oh, but what happens if I do a bit of airport work? Well, you can still use them. Just don't take more than 4 passengers. So just say you're bouncing around in a Ford Galaxy, yeah? And you've got 6 seats. You're never going to take a 6 seat airport job because no one's going to, unless you go with no luggage. But more or less 6 passengers will be bringing 4 to 6 suitcases. It's a handbags, carry on, stuff like that. You're never going to fit that in the Ford Galaxy with 6 passengers, right? So if you had something like a Ford Galaxy, which would be perfect in my opinion for Uber XL, airport work, you can still do your private airport transfers, just don't accept more than 4 passengers, which that means you'll have a massive boot for all the luggage. Do you know what I mean? When normally you can't throw 4 passengers in a normal car. There's normally 2 or 3 with 2 suitcases. Because you've got these big XL vehicles, you could do 4 people with 4 suitcases, because you've got the big boot. So it's a really good cross hybrid in between vehicle, and I think it's perfectly suited if you want to upgrade to Uber XL because it has similar expenses to a normal car and not as crazy expenses as your big minibuses, but it's still got a purpose on your airport work if you want to get into airport work. Now, there's one thing I want to say: a lot of councils don't allow 6 passengers licensed on those type of vehicles. So let me know in the comments which councils it is. I know for one fact Sefton, because I used to be Sefton licensed. With Sefton, if you have to physically climb over another passenger to get out the car, then you won't license it. That's why in your minibuses they only allow forward-facing seats, confidence seating. If you're in like a Hyundai i800 and all the seats are facing forward, and you have to move one of the seats to get them out, you won't allow it. It's just part of their licensing rules. Like if everyone dies in the middle row, the 2 in the back are just like, I'm trapped, I can't know where to go, because they're all dead in the middle row. That's their thought process. So what happens is they need to have a quick exit out the rear. Do you know what I mean? So that's why they won't allow those type of vehicles to be licensed. So if you're considering upgrading your XL vehicle, car to XL, just make sure you double check with your licensing council. You can be licensed for 6 passengers in that type of vehicle. Do you know what I mean? But I just wanted to give a little bit of an insight and a little bit of an idea of my opinion of if you're going to upgrade to an XL, just don't go the full shebang because the expenses will kick your ass. You will. Do you know what I mean? If you're going from, say, a Skoda Octavia diesel to a Ford Galaxy or a Vauxhall Safari, your expenses aren't going to be nowhere near as crazy. Do you know what I mean? And then you got the option of those little XL jobs, taking people to town or, do you know what I mean, going to like the football, stuff like that. And then you're happy to bounce around on a UberX. But if you're going from a Skoda Octavia to a Ford Tourneo, you're not really going to be happy bouncing around doing UberX jobs and that just because of the actual expenses of them. Do you know what I mean? So then you're going to be cherry picking the UberX or ignoring them. Then you'll be sitting around waiting for ages for the XL work. Sometimes it never comes. Do you know what I mean? So that's what you just got to weigh it up. That's you got to weigh up. So loads of people I know are happy with X hybrid bouncing around the streets. You know what I mean? Try and get comfort if you can, because it's a little extra for having the same vehicle. And XL is definitely an option as well. But it depends on your time, your personal. You know what I mean? If you live in a little village, how many people get 6 seater taxis? Do you know what I mean? You got to look at where you live and what times you work, and also is it worth the added expenses? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little insight, little video for you. I can't remember where I'm up to in this little idea. So I don't know if I'm going to go to exec next. I don't know if I've done exec. Comfort, comfort's more or less, most cars are comfort. So as long as you've got a big spacious car, you can get comfort anyway. Um, so yeah, I think that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in as per usual. Give us a little like and follow, you know the score. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.